What's up, guys? CryptoSavy here. Hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Welcome to the channel where you subscribe to get daily updates every single day on Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and on the weekdays we do look at the Dow Jones Industrial to see where the markets are headed. Also, I want to remind you guys there is a link in the description below the video to the free Discord. Definitely check it out. It's an awesome community, and let's get on with it. All right, guys, as always, this is not financial advice, trading advice, nor is it investment advice. There is a disclaimer scrolling on the bottom. Make sure you read it. And let's take a look at what's going on and how low we may go. First, we're going to take a look at the news headlines just to get a feel for the sentiment. Bitcoin price suddenly drops below 7K. Bitcoin garners new users as governments flood the world with fiat. Bitcoin tanks under 7,000 after rallying 100% from the bottom, which is, expected. What's next for Bitcoin after March's crash? Profit taking keeps Bitcoin in tight range. Bitcoin price analyst bears eyes 67.75, and you've been hearing a lot of people say 68. I think we're going to go lower, but we'll take a look at that and let's see what's going on. So we're going to take a look at the monthly first. For those of you that watch the channel, we've been watching for this, and I want to give another huge shout out and thanks to everybody that's been liking the videos and leaving your comments. Please keep it up. You're really helping YouTube get the videos out there. The more you guys hit the like button and leave comments, the better my videos do. I really appreciate it, guys. Let's get the info out there. Share them too if you can. But we've been looking at this falling channel, which we popped out of back here in February and came back down in. And we are getting rejected again at the 21 EMA, which is around the 72.25 on the monthly. I want to remind you guys, too, if you want to support the channel and you appreciate the content, definitely check out my wife's webpage, anchorimage.com. There's a link to that below in the description with a lot of other affiliate links. All of them, you get something back for using them, and they help me out. So I'd really appreciate it if you check them out. All right, looking at the weekly. As you guys know, we talked about it yesterday, getting rejected here at the 13 EMA around the 74.50 range, which that was a pretty big rejection. Now we're back below the 8 EMA on the weekly also, which is about the 7,050 range, 7,050, 7,060. We also have the 200 EMA down here about the 53.82, and that's leaning towards my target. Also, I want to point out this is my worst case scenario low, 25.74 that we've been watching on the channel. I'm not saying it's going to go there. A lot of people, trolls say just stupid ass comments about that. I'm saying it's possible. I'm not saying we're going there. That's why I do daily updates every single day so we can keep in tune with the market. Now let's look at the RSI on the weekly. We've talked about this for quite some time, this red support and resistance line here, which we capitulated below back in 2014, popped back above in 15, tested it for support, got support, and we continued our bull run of 2017. Back here in 18, we capitulated below it, popped back above, tested it for support in 19, and came back, dropped back below it. Now we are above it. I do believe it's possible we come back down and test this one more time. And let's take a look at the daily. I know a lot of people were looking at this as, and I'm going to draw it in there real quick. Let's see, triangle. A lot of people were looking at this as a symmetrical, or not a symmetrical, but a ascending triangle. And if you look at it that way, it does look like we could have came down and tested that for support and going to go up. But guys, if you look at the volume, there was no breakout volume. I do believe we are going to get the breakout volume here, as I do believe it's possible we go lower. But first, the support that we need to break here is this 21 EMA where we got a perfect bounce off it around the 68.47, right in that range. We do have measured moves going down. If this is a fake out, we would have to pop back above this trend line here, which is around 71.50, and close above it to be bullish. I don't see that happening, but I could be wrong. Make sure you do your own due diligence. Let's take a look at this rising wedge, which I believe it to be, and the measured move off that to where we broke. And actually, I'm going to raise this up a bit now. And right about, we're going to look at about the 40, let's say 4170 range, right in that area. That is my measured move from the break down. If we continue down, remember we have to break the 21 EMA, which is sitting right at around the 6840 range. A break of that, then I would be looking for the 64, and we'll look at the smaller time frames which also point to the 6400 range. But the 6400 is the 0.382 retracement from when we were going up. So I do see this as being an area of support. As you can see, it was support back here. So I will be looking for at least a bounce there if we make it down there. If that breaks, my next target is 5400, and that being another Fibonacci right in here. So the 0.236 is what it was. I do expect at least a bounce there too if we break the 6402. As you guys know, last couple days I've been short and telling everyone I was short, so I am still short and still in that short. So now let's look at this. If this was a bear flag, and that being a flag pull, which that's a little short to be the flag pull, but I'm still going to use that as a measured move here. And we've talked about it before. That'd be around the 32, 33, and that would be enough to come down here, be a stop hunt. And a stop hunt is if anyone had went long here, they would have their stops below this wick. If we drop down there, that would grab their stops, pull them out of their trades, and continue up, so they would have to buy higher. I guess we could look at it the worst. Let's see what this measures out to if we measure this whole thing as the flag pull, just to see. That would be all the way down to around the 19,050 range. Not saying that's going to happen. I mean, obviously it's possible, but I don't see it going past 2,500 if it does go down. Now, if this ends up being a fake out, or it was an actual ascending triangle, let's look at what the measured move would be. If we continued up from here, that would get us right around the $9,900 to $10,000 range. Is that possible? Sure, it's possible. Do I think it's going to happen? I do not, but that's just my opinion. Always remember, this is my opinion, not yours. So anyways, as of right now, I am still bearish, even though on the daily here we are getting support on the 21. And actually, as of making this video, we're getting support on the 13 EMA, which is around 69.10. We'll see what happens today, but I do see plenty more room for more fall here. Just my opinion. As you can see, like I said, the volume's still declining. We haven't had breakout volume here. I do expect to have breakout volume. Otherwise, like I said, keep an eye on that 71.25 range. If we close daily above that, we may turn bullish. Let's look at the EMAs. You can see we're stuck in between the 55 and the 21 here, so we could stick around in here for a little while before continuing. But let's look at the 4 hours, see if that's telling us anything different. So I got the wedge in the 4 hour. As you guys remember, if you've been watching the videos, I do have a rising channel here, and we had a measured move of that rising channel. We broke out right here, would get us right around that 64. The measured move actually comes a little above the 64. And we also were talking yesterday about the 55 crossing the 200. And if you look back at my video yesterday, I said a lot of times these are fake outs. People think that'll be super bullish. They go long here, get wrecked, and it ends up turning around. And as you can see, looking at the smaller EMAs, they have all turned over. Actually, the 13 is about to cross the 21 here within the next 4 hours, which may be the other push down. We're going to have huge resistance here, guys, at about the 69.80 range to $7,000 range, as we have both the 55 and the 200 EMA here. It's going to be tough to get over that. If we do, I would see a rejection at 72, which would be retesting the bottom of this wedge. But either way, like I said, I'm still looking at these lower targets. I could be wrong. But we looked at the EMA or the RSI yesterday, and I had said we were right here. We had retested the bottom of this rising broadening wedge, and that told me that we were going to continue down, which we did. We still have more room to continue down on the RSI, as you can see. Now, it doesn't look like a lot of room, but something I want to point out is back here. When we did this drop here, if you look, this was the peak right there. And we were all the way down a little bit higher than we are right now, not much. And this move here in the RSI was not that big. It didn't take much pressure to push it down, and we could see the same exact thing right over here, guys. So be aware of that, be careful. And let's look at, if you guys are interested in trading, I will leave an Prime XBT link up above. I also have Bybit links down below. Definitely check them out. You get bonuses for both of them for signing up and making a deposit. And there's promo codes for Prime XBT down there. Prime XBT is great if you want to get into equities and, oil, Forex, all that using your Bitcoin. So depending on what kind of trading you're doing, check them both out, see which platform you like the best, and always be careful. Never put in more money than you're willing to lose. And don't do super high leverage, especially if you're new to trading. And I'm not going to tell anybody not to. I mean, that's the only way to learn. Trading isn't for everybody, but if you want to try it, that is your decision. Anyways, let's take a look at Litecoin. The same thing. We have broken out of this wedge in Litecoin right here, but currently we are back inside it. But the 55 EMA is right around the 43.20, so it would take a close of at least a 4 hour above that to even, start to look bullish again. But if you look at the EMAs here on the 4 hour, they're all turned over, looking pretty damn bearish. We'll look at the measured moves here. And the first one just being measuring the wedge here. That gets us down to that $24.89, $25 range. But guys, we will have some support here at the 41.36. So see how it reacts there if that breaks. Next support's 39. If that breaks, I'm looking for the $25 range in my opinion. But like I said, if we can close back inside here and get another bounce up, this could all turn around, and we could be going to look for the golden retracement zone, which would be around 62.50 all the way up to the 0.786, which is 71.75. So be aware of that, but it would take a close. It would take a daily close above 42.50 for me to turn bullish there. And honestly, guys, I don't see that happening. Everything's pretty damn bearish now. I know a lot of people are talking about all the people that are going to buy Bitcoin. Look at what's going on in the world. People are broke, guys. There's no money coming in for them. If anybody's going to buy this stuff up and accumulate most of it, it's going to be the people that have a lot of money. So keep that in mind. The average Joe, it's not looking as good for the average Joe here. But I am a long-term bull in Bitcoin. You guys know that. I am a total believer in Bitcoin and Litecoin, not so much Ethereum, but we will take a look at Ethereum. So looking at Ethereum, we have not broken out of the wedge in Ethereum. I do have this trend line here. Did I look at the RSI? I did not on Litecoin, but to show you guys, we were looking at this as a rising wedge. In Litecoin, we were down here yesterday, and I said we had broken out, so most likely we continue down. You can see on the RSI, we still have plenty of room to go down more. Let's go into Ethereum. Same thing in Ethereum. We had this rising broadening wedge yesterday, and I remember yesterday we were sitting on the top of this channel, but we had broken out of the wedge, and that's why I was still remained bearish. Ethereum has even a little more room on the 4 hour RSI to fall down than Bitcoin and Litecoin. So let's see what happens. We are getting support on the 55 EMA for Ethereum right now, and that is being at 156 range. If that breaks, we could come down to test the bottom of this wedge, which would be around 147, 148, depending on where it got down here. But ultimately, if that breaks, your next support is at 137. Then the measured move comes down to the $89 to $90 range, and that's the measured move of the wedge. if we looked at it as a bear flag, which again, I don't believe it to be a bear flag, but let's take a look at where that would get us, right around the $42 range. And if we did like in Bitcoin and we made a, actually I might have to go up higher than that. If we looked at this as a bear flag from way up here, from this break, where would that take us, just for shits and giggles? To 0. Ethereum to 0. Anyways, just playing. It's probably not going to go to 0, guys. But as you guys know, I really don't believe too much in Ethereum. I'm more of a believer in real decentralized things like Litecoin and Bitcoin that they're not just going to be able to make more of. And they actually have a use case where all these other coins' use cases are not being used, even for dApps and that. There's nobody using the crap for dApps. But anyways, guys, that's just my opinion, not yours. I really appreciate you guys stopping by and watching. Don't forget to smash those likes, leave your comments down below, and click the CryptoSavy above to get you subscribed to the channel. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm out.